Oh my goodness.
Look at that!
Imagine waking up one frosty morning, walking outside in your robe, coffee in hand, and realizing that your entire firewood pile, all 800 pounds of it, has vanished like it got raptured. Then you check your security cameras and discover it wasn't raccoons or bored teenagers, but the HOA president herself, dressed like a budget ninja at 2 a.m., hauling log after log into the back of her Subaru like she was on some suburban black ops mission for the greater good of curb appeal. And what she didn't know, what she couldn't possibly know, was that hidden deep inside those logs was a colony of paper wasps just waiting for the right moment to unleash hell. And when they finally did, let's just say it ended with 6 EMTs, 2 cans of wasp spray, and 1 very traumatized corgi. So, here's the story. Strap in, because this is the most ridiculous HOA drama I've ever lived through, and I spent 30 years as a park ranger dealing with bears, moose, and people who thought hiking in flip-flops was a good idea. None of them were as destructive as Karen Dunst. When I moved to Eagle Crest Heights about a year and a half ago, I thought I was getting the best of both worlds. A nice house in a posh suburb, mountain views, oak trees lining the streets, and neighbors who weren't supposed to be the type to bother you if you wanted to keep your yard a little natural. I had just retired after 3 decades of government service and wanted peace, a fireplace, and a woodpile stacked neatly on my porch. What I didn't know was that the HOA here treated nature like a personal enemy. Enter Karen Dunst, HOA president. Picture Martha Stewart if she got possessed by Stalin and armed herself with a Pinterest board called Militant Curb Appeal. That was Karen, clipboard always in hand, tape measure always ready. She once banned stepping stones because she thought they evoked chaos. Not kidding. Her car, a pristine white Subaru Outback plastered with a bumper sticker that said, "Compliance equals community." That should have been my first clue. Her husband Gerald, sweet guy, vacant expression, was basically her hype man. He'd stand there nodding like one of those bobblehead dolls while she lectured people about grass length and mailbox colors. At first, she tried the passive-aggressive newsletter approach. Little sections titled things like, "Is your yard sending the right message to potential buyers?" and "The hidden dangers of natural landscaping." Subtle as a brick to the face. Then came the bogus inspection notices, always arriving on Friday afternoons, so I couldn't do anything until Monday. She'd stand at the edge of my property, tablet in hand, dramatically shaking her head for all the neighbors to see. My firewood became her obsession. First it was unsecured log formations, posing a tripping hazard. Then, firewood incompatible with neighborhood design language. My personal favorite, potentially pest-attractive timber installations. Basically, she was trying to make firewood sound like nuclear waste. One morning, I woke up to a bright orange citation taped to my tree. Apparently she'd dug up some obscure bylaw from 2004 banning naturalistic storage aesthetics within view of the street. Translation: she didn't like the look of my logs. The fine was $300. I paid it, thinking it would shut her up. Spoiler: it didn't. A week later, my entire woodpile disappeared. Every log, every chip, gone. At first I thought maybe I was losing it. Then I saw the wheel marks in the frost leading straight to the road. Checked my security cameras, and there she was. Karen, 2 in the morning, dressed in black like some geriatric cat burglar, loading 800 pounds of seasoned oak into her Subaru with the determination of a woman possessed. Multiple trips, bungee cords and everything. She stole my damn firewood. Now here's the thing Karen didn't know. I had harvested that wood from a fallen oak in the state park where I still volunteer. And inside those logs, tucked deep in the bark, was a colony of paper wasps. Dormant in the cold, waiting for the first warm day. I knew about them and planned to deal with them carefully once winter really set in. Karen, not so much. She had basically stolen herself a Trojan horse full of tiny flying demons. Fast forward 2 days, Karen hosts one of her infamous community mixers, which was just code for force everyone to admire my backyard fire pit for the 4th redesign this year. 17 neighbors showed up out of fear, not friendship. Everyone brought overpriced wine and appetizers like offerings to appease the dictator. She had stacked my stolen firewood into a perfect pyramid beside the fire pit. each log aligned with psychotic precision. She gave a little speech about source-verified timber and aesthetic uniformity, then lit the fire like she was conducting a sacred ritual. At first, it was cozy. People sipping wine, nibbling charcuterie. Then the heat from the fire started warming the pile. Inside, the wasps began to stir. One by one, they crawled out. Then in a wave, within minutes, the backyard turned into a live-action disaster movie. Screaming, wine glasses shattering, people bolting in every direction. Gerald dropped the charcuterie board and nearly trampled the Peterson's golden retriever. Someone fell into the koi pond. Karen flailed around with a citronella candle like she thought it was holy water. Absolute chaos. And then she made it worse. She tried to contain the infestation by dumping the rest of the logs into her Subaru. You cannot make this up. She hurled the wood inside, slammed the hatch, and sealed dozens of furious wasps in her car. Within minutes, her Subaru was basically a buzzing death box. By the time animal control showed up, it looked like a scene out of Ghostbusters. They had to fumigate her car, drilling holes in the interior. Total write-off. Karen screamed about biological sabotage. Claimed I planted wasps in the wood as a trap. Demanded witnesses back her up. The neighbors, who had all just been stung half to death, were not exactly in the mood to support her. Here's where it got good. Ring camera footage started circulating. Multiple neighbors had caught her stealing my wood. One had her face, another her license plate, another her hauling logs like she was auditioning for CrossFit. A full timeline got stitched together and shared with the HOA. There was no denying it. I handed the evidence to 3 places: the HOA Grievance Committee, the police, and, because karma has a sense of humor, the National Invasive Species Council. Transporting infested wood across county lines. Yeah, that's illegal. The fallout: $1,500 fine for pest transportation violations. Court-mandated 40-hour pest education seminar, 6 a.m. weekends. $3,000 restitution to me. 2 years probation. And the pièce de résistance. A court-ordered public apology in the HOA newsletter with the headline written by the judge himself: I stole firewood and got stung by consequences. Karen absolutely lost it in court. Red-faced, wailing, humiliated. But that was it. The reign of terror was over. The board voted her out in an emergency meeting. Gerald looked like a man who had just been freed from captivity. The neighborhood is peaceful again. And me, I'm just sitting on my porch, hot cocoa in hand, watching the sunset. My woodpile is stacked neatly once more. Every log split, inspected, and wasp-free. Sometimes karma doesn't just knock. It brings a swarm.